Family and survivors. Well, we changed some lighting here in the saw building. We've got about 6,000 feet of timber to bring in. We're ready to go. We're just waiting for weather, and we'll start hauling some logs in. But we needed some light. The days are short. It's dark at 4:30, so we had some HO, high output HO fluorescents, and the ballasts are getting expensive. The bulbs are outdated. So rather than spending another $100 to change ballasts on those old HOs, we just yarded them out of there and got some of these string lights. They're about $19 a piece now. And then the light bulbs are about $1.50 a piece, and they're all LEDs. And so that is producing more light now. And this is light over the for the pole, the different sorts. This is the one for the mill. And now there's just way more than enough light. Even in the daytime, it's dark up here to mill, and it's hard to see the scale. Even though there's a light and a magnifying glass on the scale, it's just hard to see sometimes. And over here on this third bay over here, I just have a 300-watt light there. But there's an outlet and a switch, and when I get to town, I'll get another set of string lights and some more 75-watt equivalent daylight LEDs, and these are 11 watts a piece. So that's just way more light than you'd get out of a incandescent or a fluorescent for the same amount of power used. So pretty cost-effective way to deal with lighting in here. So we've got some siding here set aside for the horse barn. We've got the oak planking ready to replace the decking on the log trailer, and we have these oak cribbings, and we needed to repair some tools, so I'll take you in the wood shop and show what we got going. So we had a cant hook and a peavey that needed to be repaired, and this cant hook was rotten and busted out at the bottom. So she's ready to go, repaired. And you could see the repair there, that taper piece that was added, glued. Biscuit joints and screws is how we roll. So we took one of those oak cribbing blocks, and you could see Dad chucked it up on the wood lathe, and he turned a piece down to where he could match the taper of the piece that he cut off, and then it's glued and pinned right there, and I think that's going to hold fine. So this is the cant hook, and the difference is a cant hook has got a grip on it right here, and it's for rolling large cants, where the other one, this one is in poor state of repair. We've had it since '69. Tell you how long we've been doing this stuff. That's the second handle. In fact, that was a peavey, and peaveys have sharp points, and it's when you're moving logs in the log pond from your tugboat, and pushing them up the log haul, you have a point on the end of your peavey so you can push logs and sort logs, and then there's a hook for rolling logs. Well, this one's completely rotted out and broken. Time for a new handle. Handles are expensive. Hardwood we have. So Dad took two of those oak planks and biscuit jointed them together with waterproof glue. And our lathe is not long enough to chuck this up. So he's cut several flats on it and a good long taper. And so from here, we're going to shape this part with a 60 grit flexible disc sander on a 10-inch grinder. And then we're going to use the same sander, and we're going to start pulling down these flats and making it round, and just have one guy turn it, and it'll hog this thing down, and we're just going to do it by eye. We want this one to be fairly stout. This is the 2-man peavey, and when you're rolling logs, and this peavey here is rolled 63 inch in diameter oak logs, and a 62 inch in diameter black walnut log. And yeah, so you got two guys out on the end of that PV doing a what's called a Gandy dance in the railroad. At any rate, put some tools together, getting ready for Dad to do some milling. My part is to get him logs, and he handles the rest. We installed a new hose reel for him a couple days ago. Got that at Tractor Supply on sale for 59 bucks, and it's 70 feet of hose, and that's enough to reach in here and service the tractor and service the sawmill. And I'll use that other one until I get a chance to replace the hose. And that's the problem with some of this cheap Harbor Freight stuff. It's like China doesn't know how to make rubber. Well, maybe they do, but at the prices they sell this stuff at, rubber just doesn't last. Neither do the neoprene O-rings. So the rest of that unit's fine. The recoil system, everything's great. All I need to do is take the seals, the O-ring seals in that, and replace them because they're leaking on the where it spins on that center shaft there. Just pop that apart and replace the O-rings in it and put a new hose on it, and then that can service the mill. But for now, the other one's working good. So we retired the 8-foot. Two of these were standard, and then two of them were HOs. And HOs used to be the industrial standard, and these bulbs are really expensive, and they're trying to phase them out. So those got to go. And here in the machine shop, these are the new ones. They've got, I don't know what they're called anymore, but the ones with the little green ends. They're the most efficient of the fluorescent type for the most light. And they start when it's cold, and that's a happy thing. And the HOs don't like to start when it gets really cold. So the roof in this area, you saw that we re-roofed this with new metal roof. We're getting ready for the solar panels to go up, really by spring's plenty soon enough. Yeah, but the roof is not leaking at all. And this room actually, if I take the cardboard down, this room heats like a solar envelope in the wintertime, and there's no need for heater. I used to have a big old heater hanging here in the corner, and it was a 240 volt heater, fan driven, and we haven't used it in years because this just stays so nice in here, and that's a good thing. So this heater used to be on Dad's porch, and now we can bring it up here and get warm when he's running the mill till he gets to working hard enough that he can warm up. But what I've been doing for the last probably, I'm going to say 10 years, is I bring the timber in, and Dad mills it and takes it to market. And I try to service the equipment to keep it going. And I do the millwright work on the mill, so it's cut and true, which Dad knows how to do, but I have so much experience, you know, truing big mills that it's just like second nature, leveling this and setting the lead and making sure it's running good. So Dad's able to still at 85 years old stack on sticks 16-foot green, what's called a sinker, a sugar pine sinker, and those boards are 115 pounds a piece. I told Dad we don't have to sell 16-footers anymore. We could sell the 12-footers just as easy. Sold 500,000 board feet of the 16-footers, like what you see on the sticks over there. But my thinking is 12-footers are going to be easier for him to be able to stack. Because that first board you carry, and then the second board you slide it down the first board, and then the third board you can slide down, then you stick them, and then the next board you have to carry again. So he's carrying 1 out of 3 boards. Well, this truck will haul 12 foots really easy, and then all I would have to do is take the tractor on the equipment trailer and just load up 12 footers and bring them home, rather than taking 2 trucks and both trailers, which we've done for years. And so Dad's 85, and it's really more a hobby now than anything else, something to do so he can stay in good shape. So we're thinking about going back to 12s, but we got out on that the last job and looked, and there's such nice 16-foot material. Went ahead, and I think 4,000 of it, 3,500 of it anyway, is going to be nice 16-footers. So these are oak off of our mill, oak staves that they're shingle oiled, and that holds really good. It's a lot stronger than fir. And then this decking right here, I'll show you what we have in mind for that. Okay, we've got a whole jag of dry molding stock, most of it. It's all flat green rather than vertical green. Ash. I think that is 5/4 ash, most of it. 16 feet long, and that'll do that trailer easily. Be a really nice hardwood deck. And so hopefully we can get that done under the new lights sometime this winter. And like I said, Dad's retired and does it for a hobby, and my hobby is helping Dad, and that's a good thing. And you know, when we sell some lumber, it helps finance some things around the homestead here. So we've got a jag of blue pondy here that's ready to go to market, and that will be here, by spring it'll be dry. Right now it's probably down to around 19-20%, and this is down below 8%. And then we have the posts. When we come up with smaller fir that comes up out of the log deck, we run them into posts, and it doesn't matter if they stay straight because it's just fencing for the front of the property. We have all the wire, well, most of it. We've got 1,400 feet, and we actually need 1,700, so we're pretty close. Then that'll do just the front of the property. So things are cleaned up and looking good, and we're not in any hurry. So I talked to the owners of the trees that we're getting, and they've got 3 more big ponderosas that are going to come down, and when they get all their burning and slashing done, then we'll go out and start hauling stuff. So if it's after the first of the year, I think that'll be okay. Days are short, it's cold, it's coming up on the holy day season, Christmas, and things get a little busy. All right, well, that's probably more than you ever wanted to know. Oh, by the way, those saws, those are edger saws from Rough and Ready, and it makes the most amazing knife material because it's really high nickel alloy. It just turns bright like silver and stays that way if you oil it, and it holds an edge just incredibly. But I've got my 051 is going to hang right there. Let me show it to you, and then I'll be done. There she is. Had that saw since '69, and it's just got a 36-inch bar, and it's an 051 still, and it's the big chain. I think that's the 7/32 chain, not the 5/32. Big kerf. I think it needs to hang right there. The last log that I was ripping, and it has ripped, I can't count how many giant hardwood logs, because when we get logs that are 5-6 feet in diameter, we rip them with this and we split them, and then we use the edger portion of the Alaska mill to cut a face, and then you just pick up 1/2 the log with a face and set it right there on the mill, and then that'll get between the saw guides and mills so much faster. Plus it's automatically quarter sawed. So I'm probably not going to do that anymore. It's a lot of work physically. It's really, really hard on my back and Dad's back. And so we've decided big logs from now on, we're just going to blow them with black powder. So much easier. I've got cannon fuse and lots of black powder because we black powder hunt. So I've got lots of that, and it's a lot easier to blow the logs. So I think it's time to retire that. Not the biggest saw that I've had. I used to fell with an 090 and then a 075. And my lemon saw back in those days was the old 041, and now I pretty much use the 46 for everything. If my back's feeling good enough to do it for a few minutes. So that needs to hang right there, and then I think the saw building is finished after all these years. All right, folks, enough of that. Have a very blessed day.